All right, so in the previous two scenarios, we spoke about how you build up an audience of your own. So, whether if that's through building an email list or through building a following by doing content marketing or starting a blog, that's all well and good. But what if you needed to boost your numbers, or what if you don't have enough of those numbers? Well, this is where the third scenario comes in, and this is about piggybacking off somebody else's audience. Now, there's three such services that I really want to talk about. First and foremost, and probably the most important if you're working in tech, is Product Hunt. ProductHunt.com is a website where essentially you get to hunt cool things or new things that have launched. So very often you'll see things being hunted here being featured on TechCrunch like maybe 2 or 3 days later. It's essentially a site where a lot of discovery happens. And it's cool because if you're an early adopter or if you're somebody who wants to be on the bleeding edge of tech, then this is where you discover all the cool stuff. So the way that it works is that when a product is hunted, it is live on the front page for 24 hours. And within these 24 hours, you have the opportunity of being upvoted or being discussed. Now, the higher your upvotes, the more likely it is that you're going to gain visibility. And it's the visibility that's really crucial because not only does this website get tens of thousands of hits per day, but additionally, you get hits from really relevant people within tech. So these are your journalists, these are your tech bloggers, these are your VCs and your angels. So depending on what you're going for, being hunted and discovered on Product Hunt can significantly boost your product launch. Personally, this is one of my favorite websites, and I've been a member very early on. In fact, it's probably the first thing I do when I crack open my laptop in the morning and drink my coffee. It's Product Hunt that I go to discover what cool new things are being built and really tap the pulse of our tech community. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things to note when you are going to go for a launch on Product Hunt, because it has some quirks that you need to be aware of in order to have a successful launch. As you can imagine, if there's tens of thousands of hits to this website, there's also hundreds of product submissions every day. So in order for yours to appear within the crucial front page, as you can see, it gets cut off about here. There's, maybe 22 more. And these are the featured products. So that means it's either been hunted by somebody influential, or it's been noticed by the Product Hunt team, or it's just gained a massive amount of traction. Now, if you sign up to the website, either through referral or by yourself, and you try to hunt a product, where it will end up is this tab, which is the newest hunts. And as you can see by looking at the upvotes or the comments, this is not as readily discovered compared to the featured page. So here we've got about maybe 70 products. And this is not what you see when you first go on to Product Hunt. And the way that most people use this website is that they'll scroll through typically just, the first featured page. And in order to end up here, there's a few things that you need to know. Firstly, the 24-hour cycle starts at 8 a.m. GMT. So that means if you want a full 24 hours of exposure on the front page, you're gonna have to get your product hunted at 8:01. And the person who hunts your product matters a great deal. There are super influencers within Product Hunt who have the ability to boost you straight to the featured page. And that's where you need to be, because there's a whole bunch of APIs, there's a whole bunch of newsletters, etc. that scrape from the top posts in Product Hunt. And also, if you end up in the top 5, you get distributed out to their email list in a daily sort of summary. So get in touch with people who are influential hunters. And the best way is usually through Twitter. And you need to provide them with a number of details that they'll need. Now, this includes the name of the product, the URL, the tagline. These are basically things that they're going to have to input into Product Hunt in order to hunt you. Now, if they're a pro hunter, then they might have other things that they want from you. But essentially, the point is just to make their lives as easy, as pain-free as possible. And on top of that, that you have an interesting product for them to want to hunt, then you have maximum chance of success. So how do you know who are the super influencers? Well, there's a website that I've linked down here, which is a product hunt leaderboard. And you can see here the top 200 products of all time, but you can also see the top 200 hunters. And this is updated every day or so. And that depends on the number of votes, the number of things they've hunted, the number of followers. And these are people who have a lot of influence on this platform. Essentially, the way to do it is one by one, figure out who these guys are on Product Hunt, check out what they've hunted previously, and try to figure out what are they interested in, what kind of products do they tend to hunt, and out of that list find maybe 20 or 30 people who you think could be interested in what you're doing and hit them up over Twitter. So Product Hunt is linked with Twitter, so in most cases if you just search Twitter for their handle, it will be the same person, and just tweet at them and see if they will be kind enough to hunt your product. Now, the other thing about Product Hunt is that when you do get hunted, and you obviously want to be upvoted, because the more upvotes, the higher you go. Now, that's not always the case, because if you look, for example, here, these people, AvoCode, have 168 upvotes, but these people have 169 upvotes. Why are they below this one? Well, because Product Hunt actually has a sophisticated algorithm, and it's getting more and more sophisticated day by day. So one of the things to note is that if you go to the page for your product and you share this link with people, the resulting upvotes that you get won't be as strongly weighted as if they discovered it from the homepage. So if from the homepage I upvote AvoCode here, this is a much stronger indicator of interest than if I came to Product Hunt through the shared link. The other thing that you really have to try not to do is never share the direct link on Facebook, on Twitter, or anywhere asking for votes. It's a part of Product Hunt's community guidelines. They don't want people to solicit upvotes. Now, that can be okay if you're, already near the top and you just share the homepage and tell people, go and upvote us. We are PitchBot on the front page. But what if you're not there? What if you're on the newest list, which is really hard to discover? Or what if you're actually below the show 22 more? What if you're somewhere down here? Then it can be really hard to direct your community to help you out and upvote you. So one of the things that you can do is, so say if you are something, say Book Up, right? You can actually search for Book Up and hit enter and share this link instead. Now, this doesn't always work, especially if your name sounds really similar to a whole bunch of other startups or products, but it can often mean the difference. But it can often mean the difference of being penalized for your upvotes or actually having it count. So the big no-no is sharing the link, pasting it everywhere that's public, and trying to solicit upvotes. You often see products that start climbing the charts on Product Hunt homepage and then suddenly crash because they trigger the algorithm. So I could probably talk about Product Hunt for days and days, if not a week. And there's a lot of intricacies that you have to abide by if you want a successful launch on Product Hunt. But the important thing is that once your product gets hunted, then nobody can hunt the same link again. So make sure that you're properly prepared if you are going to go for a Product Hunt launch. And make sure that you try and get an influencer on Product Hunt to help you out. Now, what are the advantages of actually ending up on here? Very often through either personal experience or friends of mine who have done Product Hunt launches, if you end up on the front page, especially within the top 5, you can expect tens of thousands of hits just within 24 hours. And that usually translates to a couple of thousands of either downloads or buys or whatever it takes to acquire your product. So it is a huge thing. And also you get noticed by the right people. So if you're going to launch a digital product or even a physical product, as long as it fits one of these categories, it's well worth just investigating and planning your launch on Product Hunt.